My background is that I am an artist and a social scientist. I'm a psychologist or environmental psychologist. And all of this means I'm very interested in the relationship between people and the spaces in which they live in the city and they live and work. So the garment district is where we're going to be today, where people work. The fashion district is where people shop. You guys see the difference?
Yes.
So we're not shopping. Today, what we're going to do is walk around the places that have historically been the kind of things that support the life of a worker in this district. So this is a special district in New York because it was never primarily residential. It's a place built around work and around which laborers built their lives. So we'll kind of go through the day in the life of several typical types of garment workers in several eras and what they would have done when they weren't working 10 or 12 or 16 hours a day, those other parts of the day. So we're going to start because it's Saturday, and they used to keep Saturday hours years ago. And where a garment worker would start, a typical garment worker, would be at the synagogue. So let's go. There wasn't yet, at this point, a very strong social support. So the synagogue really provided a lot of that. So people would come in and there would be a line around the block because they would come in and pray in the morning before going to work all day. If you were new in town or you had just quit your crappy job or lost it, you said, take this job and shove it, you would come down here and you would get yourself a nice Reuben sandwich and then you would go sit with the man. There was a man. Who this man was, I don't know, but there was a man and he had a black book. And I don't know what, but he kept a ledger of all the jobs that were available on the factory floors and around the garment districts. And so he was a kind of one-man employment agency for many years. And he's just the guy with the book in Dubrow, so go see the guy with the book. Okay, so, I told these guys when they want to talk about sustainability that I want to talk about work because, one of the things that I like a lot about Marx and Engels is that they kind of talk about how they talk about how labor is one of the main ways that we relate to nature. We have to make food, shelter, and clothing for ourselves, and garments are clothing, and this is part of this is our relationship to nature. And then the work around that emerges, the whole industries that emerge in the city, I think, have a lot to say about how we take care of ourselves and how we take care of each other. And if we have a neighborhood like this one that is transforming from one of production to something else, to one of consumption, we have to ask what kind of impact that makes on the city, what kind of impact that makes on our relationship with nature and with our ability to take care of ourselves. So, Dubrow's cafeteria was one, just like the synagogue, was one very important way that the workers of this area took care of themselves. That this really helped to make their working life sustainable. Because of this weird location, because it was one of the few manufacturing centers in Manhattan, it actually was the hotbed and a source of the kind of thinking, political thinking, that really led to making this city actually sustainable to live in for people who work. A lot of my work has to do with sort of the way people's everyday lives are distributed, in these different scripts that they play out as they go around the city. So one of the things I like about the garment district is that, you notice how close everything was. So you can imagine how from people's morning all the way to night, you can kind of move around in the same sort of area, circulating. And every time you circulate, every turnaround and every hour, another aspect of what you are in the city is played out. This is why the city is sustainability. This is why, to me, the city is sustainable. If we continue to have neighborhoods in which people can go through their entire lives in a series of blocks and have, almost like feeling like the city shifts around you every hour and, places you in different positions, in relationship to each other, then we can have a sustainable city.